go ahead and start, and if she can, she'll pop in.
Okay, very good. All right. With that, we are going to call to order the Monday, May 3rd meeting of the Michigan City Board of Public Works and Safety. Myself and Mayor Perry are in attendance. We are anticipating that Ms. Keating will be joining us very shortly. First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the regular Zoom meeting from April 19th, 2021. I'm going to make a motion to go ahead and approve those minutes.
Support.
All right, we have a motion and a support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No one. Okay, we move on. Next item on the agenda is the awarding of quotes. Michigan City Police Department lease of 10 2021 Dodge Chargers police pursuant package, 2-year term. I know that Chief Cooney and Amber both have sent documentation regarding the winning quote. Chief Cooney, can you go ahead and verify that everything is as the police department needs it to be?
Yes, good morning, everyone. We have reviewed the documents, myself and City Attorney LePage, and we agree with the terms. And then if Amber needs to go over everything, it's fine.
Okay. Amber, any input?
We've reviewed it, would recommend the award to LaPorte Chrysler Dodge Jeep. It would be a 2-year lease term in the amount of $90,000. We'd also request approval of the draft of the proposed lease. We don't have the original yet because we do not have the VIN numbers. So we anticipate that at the time of delivery. So we would request approval of the 2-year lease with LaPorte Chrysler Jeep in the amount of $90,000 and also approval of the proposed lease agreement.
Okay. Mayor Perry, do you have any questions regarding this?
No, Mr. President, I do not.
Okay. With the approval of Chief Cooney and Ms. LePage, I would go ahead and make a motion to approve the lease between the City of Michigan City and LaPorte, we said it was?
LaPorte Chrysler.
LaPorte Chrysler. Okay. I will make that motion, Mayor.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Ms. Keating is not in yet, but 2 votes will do it. We will move on to the next item on the agenda, approval of application. Samir Agami, 305 Boyd Circle is requesting approval of the application he completed for a hearing impaired sign near his home for his young son's safety. I believe Mr. Agami is here today. Samir?
Good morning. Yeah, we're here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good, good. We do have your application. Tell us what information you can regarding your request.
Well, we've been having issues here in the neighborhood, honestly, with a lot of people speeding past here. Our son's about 80% deaf, and they're normal kids, so they want to go out there and they want to play, and they usually play a lot of basketball and they ride their bikes. And I grew up in this neighborhood on Lawndale, and my mother still presents there. And our in-laws live, or my in-laws live on Belmont. So the kids are in that preceding area, riding their bikes. And it's gotten bad in this neighborhood with cars just flying up and down.
We have video actually of a couple of people. We have video cameras out on our house. We have a couple of people that have exceeded 55 miles an hour with the speed zone that we have put up outside right now.
Okay. I do not believe that that video necessarily is necessary. I do know that I was forwarded the ordinance in regards to these, in regard to the installation of these signs, and to my understanding, all of the qualifications are listed. I know Captain Lonieski is here. Captain, have you had a chance to take a look at this area?
Good morning. Yes, I have. In fact, about a week or two ago, we put out our speed radar trailer just to try to reduce the speed in anticipation of these signs being installed. So we would recommend approval of the request.
Would make, okay, very good. Mayor, any questions, comments, concerns?
No, sir, Mr. President. Officer Lineski's recommendation is good enough for me.
Okay. All right. With that, I would go ahead and make a motion to approve. Good morning, Virginia.
Good morning, and I'll second your motion.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Man, jumping right in. That's what I like
Come
to
out of
see.
the chute swinging.
Want you to
awesome.
know I'm here.
All right. Very good. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 3-4, none opposed. I believe that Shang is here and he can look into getting that sign posted at our earliest convenience.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. You guys have a great day. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Be safe. All right. Next on the agenda, request for signage. Carol Zimke, 102 Rue de Lac West, representing Terra du Lac 2 Homeowners Association, is requesting a no outlet sign to be placed at the bottom of the road near Warren Road for safety reasons. I believe Ms. Zimke is with us today.
Yes, I am.
Carol, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your request here.
We live on a cul-de-sac. It's right off of Warren Road and Washington Park Boulevard. And a lot of people, especially in the summer, think that they can get to Lakeshore Drive and the beach by going up the road. So they'll speed up the road and then be frustrated and go even faster going down and, come out back on Warren Road. We have some small children now that have moved in. We definitely are the oldsters on the block, but they're small children and they are playing in the street or crossing. And I did see a lot over the weekend that we're doing the same thing. So if we could just have some kind of signage that would indicate at the bottom that doesn't go through, I think it would reduce the usage of the road. There's a safety issue, like I said, for children. Also, it's a homeowners association, so we own the road and have to maintain it. And it is picking up a great deal of traffic. Like I said, particularly as summer comes on, I think that it would be in everybody's benefit. Also, the frustration of those who go up there and then, and scoot on down as fast as they can. So if that could happen, we would appreciate it very much.
Okay, thank you. Captain Lonieski, have you had a chance to take a look at this one?
Yes, I have. As stated earlier, this is a dead end. And in the summertime, a lot of tourists and out-of-towners get turned around in that area and can't find their way out. This will just reduce traffic, unnecessary traffic on that street. So we would recommend approval of the request.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Mayor, Ms. Keating, either of you with any comments?
No, sir,
I
not
have none.
for me.
Okay. With the captain's blessing, I would go ahead and make a motion to approve the installation of a no outlet sign or a dead end sign, depending on which the streets department sees most applicable, to the area at Warren Road.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. We move on. Thank you, Ms. Simke.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Bye-bye now.
Have a good day.
Thank you. You as well.
All right, next on the agenda, request for street closure. Janet Block, Executive Director, Lubeznik Center for the Arts, is requesting street closure of Washington Street north of US Highway 12 and Franklin Street from the crosswalk at Water Street to 2nd Street for the Lubeznik Art and Artisan Festival, beginning at 8 a.m. on August 20th, 2021 through 7 p.m. on August 22nd, 2021. Ms. Block, I believe, is in attendance.
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Good morning, Ms.
everyone.
Block.
Hi, thank you for letting me be here. This is a request that I've made every year for several years now. And it's for the safety of the pedestrians, the festival goers, and also for artists to be able to load in and out safely during specific times. So I'm hoping that we usually have the emergency management folks help with safety, and I'm hoping that you will approve this.
Okay, thank you very much. Captain Lonieski, have you, I know that this is a regular event. Do we have any concerns regarding this motion?
No, we would recommend approval. As stated, the Lubeznik Center always makes a generous donation to our EMA group in exchange for their services at this event, so we would recommend approval.
Very good. Thank you, Captain. Mayor, Ms. Keating?
Questions here, sir?
Nothing.
Okay. With that, I would make a motion to approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We move on. Thank you, Ms. Block.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Have a great day.
You too.
All right. Next on the agenda, request for street closure. Eric Camel, St. Joseph Young Men's Society is requesting street closure at Tillotson Street from Franklin to Washington Streets for their annual 2021 Summer Festival on June 25th through the 27th, 2021 from 12 p.m. until midnight. Is Eric here today? I do not see Eric in attendance. I know that this also is a yearly event. Captain Lonieski?
Yes, we would recommend approval of the request. As stated, this is an annual event, and fortunately this year it's not going to conflict with our Summerfest parade because of the date change, so we would recommend approval of the request.
Okay, very good. Mayor Perry, Ms. Keating?
Questions here, sir?
Nothing here.
Okay. With that, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
3-4, none opposed. We move on. Modification to city easement. Jessica Vasquez, 1203 Spring Street, is requesting approval to build a handicap ramp on a city easement. I believe Ms. Vasquez is present.
We're here.
Okay, very good. Can you tell us a little bit about your desires here?
Well, I'm trying to activate the video and we can show you and talk you, but I'm trying to get the video. The host disabled it. Start my video. Okay, there you go. Stop.
Oh, good morning. Thank you for hearing us. The front of her property is about 10 feet from the sidewalk. The city has rights to that. She wishes to put a handicap ramp. The only place we can get the right angle and everything is from her front porch running along the face of her house. It doesn't interfere at all with the sidewalk. It's actually even underneath the eaves of the property. it would be a temporary structure, no permanent, no main, no footers would have to be dug, just post bases and a ramp and rebuilding the front steps just in order to accommodate for the ramp and still have steps to the street, which wouldn't, again, interfere with the sidewalk. It doesn't seem like there should be any issue. I don't know if, oh, well, I guess I could show you a picture of it. I'm not very familiar with doing this, I apologize.
Okay, real quick, you are Mr. Vasquez?
No, I am.
I'm sorry, can you identify yourself and give your address, please?
My name is Chris Gondek. I live at 825 West 4th Street.
Thank you.
If you can see where I'm standing, this is her front door. And where you see the planter and everything going down this way, we want to accommodate a handicap ramp for her to egress going down the yard this way in order for her to be able to come and go from her house. Her MS makes it very difficult for her to do stairs. So this with the,
Sorry.
I don't know if you can see her over here. Yeah, there she is. She has a very difficult time moving. As her MS is going to progress, it's going to become even more difficult, which would even more necessitate the ramp, which would just basically be where this planter is.
And I'm sitting on city property at this moment.
Yeah, the city has, I guess, greenway here. I don't know how you want to call
My
it.
property ends at the brick.
Okay. All right, thank you. I know Skylar is here. Skylar,
Yeah.
I know that you have had some communication with this party. Tell me what you know.
So this came into the planning office for a permit, and our planner, our associate planner who reviews those, reviewed it. The issue is that there's a very wide right of way there. In fact, I mean, without a survey, it looks to me like it almost goes up to the front of the house, our actual right of way. If I had a survey, I could make a more educated decision with respect to like knowing exactly where the property lines are. But after hearing all this, I don't think a handicap, we allow handicap ramps wherever we can put them in, so you know. But this one's very kind of unusual with respect to it's city property. If it wasn't city property there, we would allow a handicap ramp to be placed there. It's just the fact that it's city property. We don't want to make a habit of just signing a permit to put something on city property. If that makes sense.
It does.
Mr. President, may I chime in?
Yes, you may, Mayor.
Thank you. I don't see any issue with this other than because it's city property, and Ms. LePage Stallbrink can correct me. Would we want a hold harmless agreement to protect the city?
Yes, we could enter into some type of written agreement where there is a hold harmless and indemnification.
Okay, then that being the case, I have no issue with this.
I would say that, what we did offer, just for your knowledge, Mr. President, was that as long as it's temporary in nature and just what's needed, but I don't think we would allow like a deck to be built out there or anything like that. It just needs to be what's necessary to get in the house from a standpoint of what's in the right of way. And I think that would be good for the city, and it could be removed at a time someone didn't want it, et cetera.
Yeah, the whole construction would be of a temporary nature, no permanent footings, nothing of that nature. It's going to basically be built over the top of these steps, which are existing here, and with the platform being here, the new steps to egress would come down and wouldn't extend any further than the existing steps are here.
It's just lining them up all in a row.
It would just be a different.
Yeah, I got it.
So I don't think it would interfere at all with any of the right-of-way regarding the sidewalk, and especially with the road and everything. It shouldn't interfere with anything. Its design is just to be in this area. Right over the planting that's here would be removed to be replaced with a rim. And we need basically this much length to get an appropriate ramp.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it'll take-
Skylar, from what I'm gathering here, you are in agreement that we are doing this without any severe damage to city property or impeding anybody else's use of that property?
I think you're fine. I'll be honest, I felt a little differently before I'd seen him explain it, and knowing that knowing the situation with Jessica and the progression, I think it's the right thing to do. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's not going to impede with respect to if it wasn't city property, we would allow this to be built there. It's just the fact it's city property.
Okay. All right. With that, Virginia, did you have any input on this?
No, I concur with what's been said.
Okay. With that, I would go ahead. I'm going to make a motion to approve. I do believe that Amber, would you be willing to facilitate any paperwork that we need in terms of the hold harmless agreement that we spoke of?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Your motion should be subject to execution of that document.
Execution of the hold harmless agreement. Okay.
Yes.
So I will go ahead and make a motion to approve contingent on the activation of the hold harmless agreement that Amber will go ahead and put together and forward to you, Ms. Vasquez, and both parties will need to sign that. And then at that point, you will have approval to build your structure of a temporary nature on that property. Is that okay?
That's perfect.
Okay.
I'll second that motion, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
3-4, none opposed. Thank you, Ms. Vasquez. Have a good morning.
Thank you, you too. All right.
Okay, next on the agenda, request for signage. Councilman Don Przybylski, 215 Gardena Street, is requesting signage to be placed at Ohio Street and Tilden Avenue at the CO tracks to warn the public of the rough crossings. Good morning, Councilman Przybylski.
Yeah, good morning, board members. And I would just like to say these two crossings I know are familiar to everyone that I'm speaking to today, and familiar to probably everyone that lives in the city of Michigan City. And they have been probably the two most dangerous crossings in Michigan City for a number of years. Why we can't get these crossings repaired, I don't know. And I'm hoping that we can get them repaired in the near future. But before that happens, and I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, I still think that we need to protect the public on three accounts. Number one is the driving safety and vehicular control over these railroad tracks. If you don't know that they're rough, people do come speeding over the tracks, or even at 30 miles an hour, which is the normal speed limit on city streets. These tracks are very dangerous for your vehicular control, and we don't want to have any accidents. Number two, the damage that's being done to vehicles as they're crossing over these tracks, whether it's flat tires, whether it's shocks, whether it's control arms. I know for a fact, because I traveled the Tilden Ave corridor quite a bit, and going over those tracks, I see muffler parts, I see catalytic converter parts, time in and time out. and I stop and I pick that material up so people won't get flat tires coming over those crossings. And the third one is, just pedestrian type crossing. And also if people are trying to ride their bikes over these crossings, to me, it's not very safe. You get your wheels caught in there. You're going to tear your rims up, your tires up, and everyone knows what could happen there. And the other thing that I'd like to say is that I know that it was there, but the idea to put these signs up wasn't my original idea. It was actually from a citizen of Michigan City that called me 2 weeks ago, and we were discussing these crossings. And his name is Warren Foster, and he's he's a lifelong resident of Michigan City. And we used to work for the water department, but it was his idea that the city could look into putting these signs up. And I thought it was a fantastic idea because, as I said earlier, these crossings are not going to get done anytime soon that I can see, and I haven't heard anything of anyone making any movement to get these crossings fixed. And number two, is going to warn the public of what they're coming up to and to slow down and to make the crossings safer until they are repaired. So I would greatly encourage the board to pass this request. I don't think it takes a lot of explanation. I think it's pretty cut and dry, and it's for the safety of the people of Michigan City. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Przybylski. I appreciate it. I obviously am in agreement with you and Sean. Normally I would go to Jeff here, but Sean, do you have any information regarding communication that we've had between the railroad company and, if they have any intentions of fixing this area anytime soon? I mean, I know that this is not exactly a new problem, as Councilman Przybylski indicated. And obviously on a short-term level, I do believe that obviously I will be seeking the input of Captain Loniewski and yourself here in terms of the logistics. But I think our main priority right now is to warn the citizens and the travelers headed over these crossings that they're in for a bit of a dip once they get there. But that being said, I think we would be remiss if we didn't look at the overlying problems and reach out to the railroad company and have them come out and take a look at the situation.
Good morning, board. Actually, I've been working with CSX for the past year in regards to the tracks located at Tilden, and I believe it's at Ohio Street. I made several phone calls, several complaints. I think actually I called 3 times. I do realize it's an ongoing problem. I don't see no issue with warning signs. It's just these are signs that's going to have to be specially made. They're not usually stocked like your typical railroad signs. So I don't have no issue with it will be actually 4 signs. Because I think Tilden runs north and south, Ohio Street's north and south as well. We'll just attach them to the regular railroad signs.
Okay. I mean, would we put them with the railroad signs, or would we want to give them a little bit more time to slow down?
Actually, the current railroad signs that we have, they current with the MUSIC, the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control, they're actually far enough away from the tracks to warn the motorists. If we see fit to add additional signs, they would have to be further back because the current signs right now are at least about a block away from the railroad tracks.
Okay.
So there would probably have to be approval for these new signs to be installed in the ground.
Okay. You did say that you've been in contact with the railroad, just have not gotten any response or anything.
Yes, that is correct. I've been in contact with them as well as engineer. Actually, me and engineer Jeff Wright went to these tracks to observe the flow of traffic going over these tracks, and they are rough. We contacted CSX. CSX didn't give me no definite time for repairs. They did acknowledge that there's a problem. I can't get a definite time when they'll get repaired.
Okay.
It's gonna probably have to be a lot of these locations have like labels where you get the ID and you get the phone number, and it's just a matter of constantly contacting them, complaining about these tracks.
I got you. Real quick before I move on, Captain Lonieski, have you had a chance to go out to this area? Do you have any input, suggestions that you can make?
Yes, we would concur with Councilman Prespolinski. I think these signs are desperately needed right now. I would suggest that they only be temporary, so when the tracks are fixed, that they be taken down. I know our department has received numerous complaints about vehicles being damaged by the tracks, and we've been reporting them to the railroad. So I would urge anyone that has damage to their vehicles from these tracks to contact the railroad.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Captain. Mayor, let me go ahead and propose this. It sounds as if Sean and Jeff have made efforts to reach out to the railroad company. Would it potentially be possible for you to make a call to them and see if we might be able to get a little bit further? I think potentially if the mayor is willing to call the railroad, maybe they would find it a little bit more urgent than they apparently have.
Yes, Mr. President, I will call if I can be provided with a starting point, a telephone number from Mr. Smith. Then I will go ahead and pursue this because it is definitely needed, and it's going to probably going to take some time to do it. I think it took the last administration 7 or 8 months to get the crossing repaired at Franklin right by Ames Field. That was also a CSX crossing. Same crossing that same railroad company system that we've been talking about here.
Sure.
I will do that immediately.
Okay. And obviously, Mayor, Ms. Keating, either of you have any questions, comments, concerns regarding the installation of the signs?
No, my only comment is that I would ask that the mayor's communication be in writing. That way we can track it a little bit better than phone calls.
Okay.
Thank you for the recommendation, Ms. Keating. I will do that.
Thank you.
Councilman Przybylski.
Yeah, I have a question for City Attorney Amber LePage.
Yep.
If I can ask her a question pertaining to this.
Yes, you may.
Amber? Amber?
She's on.
Listening.
Okay. Yeah, Amber, as far as these railroad crossings go, is there any means by, in the rough shape that they're in, causing damage to people's vehicles, and especially being unsafe? We all know they're unsafe in the condition that they're in. Can the city turn around and sue the railroad for having unsafe crossings that the municipality and the citizens have to travel on? Can we look into doing something like that to force their hand to get this repaired?
Well, obviously, if we've incurred damage ourselves, we could do that. I'd be happy to explore that further, but I think the starting point, like Ms. Keating has suggested, would be written communication from the mayor to CSX, explaining the gravity of the situation. Mr. Przybylski, I think that's our starting point.
Okay, I understand that, but in legal law, is there anywhere where if a third party, which would be the railroad, the C&O railroad, that they could be sued for just having crossings like this, or we could bring a lawsuit against them to get them off ground zero to get some work done, or if possible, they would have to pay for, damages or something like that. But anyway, could you investigate if there's any means for the city to sue them to get their railroad crossings fixed? I would like to see if there's anything with that.
Yes, I mean, obviously, I'm not in the position to talk about the legalities of it
Okay.
today and research it. I mean, I wasn't prepared to do that right now.
Oh, I know that. That was just a question that came up, just to push the, the ball down the field to get something done. And if you could, Amber, if you could possibly have an answer for the next Board of Works meeting, so that way we could keep this in front of us and to get these tracks repaired. If it's not, now, which I know it's not going to be, maybe next spring, we could get this stuff done. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. President, if I may chime in very
Yes,
quickly,
Mayor.
I appreciate it.
Yes, Mayor.
I will say that, and it's not, what I'm going to say does not diminish the importance of addressing those rail crossings from my position at all. Back to the Franklin Street crossing that was done during the last administration, the reason it took so long was because we wanted a better crossing. We wanted concrete inserts surrounding the tracks, which last a lot longer than just railroad ties. And we got it done when we did, only after several months, only because the city picked up 50% of the cost. That's not our property, and we had to delve into our own pockets to do that, which I don't have any problem city picking up part of the cost for this. Because this is a life safety issue as far as I'm concerned. I'm just appraising everybody that it may not happen real quickly, but the cost, the city bearing part of the cost is not an issue with me. It is a life safety issue, needs to be addressed. But I wanted to share that with you because there was a lot of unhappiness at the Franklin Street crossing, and that's why it took so long, because CSX would not budge for the more expensive crossing until Michigan City stepped forward and offered to pay part of the cost. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. With that, I think we need to get back to the task at hand for this particular moment, which is the signage request. And it seems to be unanimous approval, and that we need to put signs out there that make drivers aware of the bump out there. I'm glad that Councilman Przybylski mentioned Mr. Foster, because I also spoke with Mr. Foster, and he is an individual who knows this city like the back of his hand, and I am glad to know that he came forward to Councilman Przybylski and brought this forward, and that he reached out to me as well. And I would go ahead and make a motion to approve the installation of signs. Again, I'm going to, do we need to determine the actual wording of these signs at this point? Or can we leave that to the street department, Amber?
Mr. Smith, what do you recommend the wording to be?
Just an indication of rough crossing with the typical R&R.
It would just be something that would be a standard sign by the manual, correct?
Yes, it just has to be a slight modification with the language rough crossing ahead. Because these are signs that they don't make. They have to be like typically made.
Okay. Are we in agreement, Mayor and Virginia, rough crossing is okay?
Yes, sir. Yes. I am.
Okay. All right. I would go ahead and make a motion to approve the installation of signage, rough crossing at the railroad crossings at Ohio Street and Tilden Avenue.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Thank you, Councilman Prisblinski.
You're welcome. Thank you, board.
Gail, real
Do you
quick.
want this to go on the pending list regarding the mayor's letter and moving forward that way?
Yes, let's put that on the pending list because obviously the task at hand right now was the sign, but also that those crossings need to be addressed. And I thank Mayor Perry for taking the initiative to reach out to the railroad through written communication per Ms. Keating's request.
Ms. Nyla, if you would, I would put it on the pending for the crossing improvement only because the signs are going to be put on Michigan City property. We need no approval for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilman Prisblinski, did you have one more?
Yeah, and also if you want to put it on the pending list, my request to Attorney LePage to investigate if there's any legal action we can bring against the railroad for not maintaining their crossings. If we could get that for the next meeting.
Mr. President, I'm just a little reluctant. I mean, I'll be happy to share with you, Mr. Prespolinski, any kind of legal research I do, but I'm a little reluctant to, at this point in time, share any of those conclusions publicly.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you, Amber.
No problem.
Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Councilman Prisblinski. It's too early in the morning on a Monday. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
All right, we move on to our next item, request for street closure. This is for 2021. Arturo Pozos, Michigan City Main Street Association is requesting parking lot closure on the north side of 8th Street between Franklin and Washington Street for a mural presentation on Friday, June 4th, 2021 from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. Mr. Pozos, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me today.
Not a problem at all. We've got several events you're here to speak on behalf of. Regarding the mural presentation, what can you tell us?
On the back of the Hokkaido building, we have Michigan City Main Street Association has commissioned a mural to be painted, which I believe is starting sometime this week. The artist will take, there are 3 levels on that building, and on the, it would take, she said it's going to take her about a week per level. So we want to have a presentation, a get together or a reveal as you would, of that mural on First Friday, June 4th, as part of our First Friday events. We're requesting the parking lot that is there between the alley and Washington on the north side of 8th Street. It's sometimes referred to as the goat lot, where there's the sculpture that was done as part of a project a few years back. We would be setting up some tents in there. We would have a live band. With approval of ATC, there would be some alcohol, some beer being sold for that party. We're also going to have all of the artists that submitted requests to do that mural, give them an opportunity to set up and display their artwork and or sell anything that they may have.
Okay. Captain Lonieski, do you have any input regarding this request?
No, just to clarify, this is only for the use of the lot. We're not going to be closing 8th Street.
Okay.
That's correct. No street closure on this one.
Okay. I do believe there should be a certificate of insurance that will accompany this, I believe.
Yes, we will get that no less than or no more than 30 days out. We'll just get that and then we'll submit that to you once we have that.
Okay. All right. Gail?
I believe this is redevelopment. It does not, I think they'll have to have the approval of redevelopment to use this lot.
Yeah, we're going to be on their agenda for the meeting on the 10th.
Okay, Skylar is here. Skylar, is that correct?
I think it's our lot. I'm not sure if we ever dedicated to the city. I know when you look at it, it says City of Michigan City. It is public parking. You know, it's for the use of public parking, but that's fine if we want to go to the redevelopment commission as well.
Yeah,
it'll be fine.
I think it needs to be worded that way, pending approval of redevelopment commission.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
And I will just clarify too. Yeah, the insurance will require insurance too. But yeah, 30. I know how you guys do your insurance. You get it per event, so I understand that. Yeah.
Okay, Ms. Keating, any questions, comments, concerns?
No.
Okay. I would go ahead and make a motion to approve contingent on the approval of the redevelopment commission and also the receipt of the certificate of insurance to be made at least 30 days from the event.
I will support that.
Okay, we have a motion and a support. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. All right, we move on to the next item on the agenda. Request for street closure. Arturo Pozos, Michigan City Main Street Association is requesting street closure on Franklin Street from 6th Street to 8th Street and 7th Street between Washington and Pine Streets on August 6, 2021, starting at 7 a.m. through August 8, 2021 at 12 p.m. for the Taste of Michigan City. Also requesting closure of Washington Street from US Highway 12 to 9th Street and Franklin Street from 10th Street to 4th Street and 9th Street to Washington to Pine Street for the boat parade on Saturday, August 7th, 2021. That was a mouthful. Arturo, any particular notes regarding this particular request?
No, this is just the same request we've made for the last 8 years at least for the Taste of Michigan City. Included in that would be 2 lots on 7th Street to the north and south of 7th, west of Franklin Street with acceptance from the redevelopment commission, like we've done in the past. Nothing's changed here from what we've done in the last few years.
I have a question, Mr. President.
And we always do the request for the parade stuff for the Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Okay, very good. Mayor, yes.
Well, that was the basis of my request, Mr. President. I was going to ask Mr. Pozos if he has interfaced with the LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau because they spearhead the boat race, but it sounds like he has.
Absolutely, we are. We've been working with them since we started. So this will be our, not counting 20, this will be our, I believe, our 11th year.
Okay. Captain Laniewski, do you have any concerns regarding this one?
I would just add that I have worked with Arturo and Abby May on all of these events. They're on our agenda for today. These are all annual events, and there hasn't been any major changes to either one of them when we would recommend approval.
Okay, very good. One question was brought up regarding the vendors for this item. I do believe that they would all need to come before the board prior to the event. Is that correct, Amber?
No, they never have. They've always been included in the event.
They've been included in the event, so they do not have to come before the Board of Works.
Correct.
Okay. All right. That being said, do I have a motion to approve the request for street closure for the Taste of Michigan City?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Virginia.
I'll support it.
Okay, we have a motion and a support for the request for street closure between the Michigan City Main Street Association, Franklin Street from 6th Street to 8th Street, and 7th Street between Washington and Pine Streets on August 6, 2021, starting at 7 a.m. through August 8, 2021 at 12 p.m. for the Taste of Michigan City. Also requesting the closure of Washington Street from US Highway 12 to 9th Street and Franklin Street from 10th Street to 4th Street and 9th Street from Washington to Pine Street for the boat parade on Saturday, August 7th, 2021. All in favor, say aye.
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 Mr. President, it has to be subject to receipt of insurance as well.
Thank you very much. This is contingent on the receipt of the certificate of insurance. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you, Amber. All right, we move on to the next item. Request for street closure, also 2021. Arturo Pozos, Michigan City Main Street Association is requesting street closure on Franklin Street from 8th to 4th Street and 7th Street from Pine Street to Washington Street for the annual Flame and Flare Halloween Festival on Saturday, October 23rd, 2021 from 3:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Mr. Pozos, anything in regards to this particular event?
No, again, it's the same thing we've done for the past few years. Reason for the request is with all the number of kids we get a couple thousand kids down there. We just want to make sure that they can cross the street safely during this event.
Okay. Mayor, Ms. Keating, any questions, concerns? And Captain Lonieski, I'll add you in that.
None here.
We would recommend approval.
Okay.
I have nothing.
Okay. With that, I would go ahead and make a motion to approve the request for street closure for the Flame and Flare on Saturday, October 23rd, 2021 from 3:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. based on receipt of certificate of insurance contingent. All in favor, say aye.
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 I said aye.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, we have another request for street closure. Real quick, I want to ask a question. Amber, I'm going to come to you. I know that so basically we have approved all of the Main Street Association items, events for 2021. Is there any, like a statute that says how far out we can approve events? We're about to go into events that are in 2022, which are, some of them are over 365 days out. Is there any problem with us approving those at this time?
I don't foresee next year being a problem, but it's up to this board if they would want to go into next year or table it to, maybe beginning of January. Obviously, I think one is the Brew Fest is coming up in February, but it's really the discretion of the board.
Mr. President, if I may, you beat me to the punch on that. I was going to mention that I think this is too far out. It's premature to be approving these at this time. With the 2022 events, the only two that I would think that we could approve before 2022 would be the Ice Shelf Brew Fest, because it occurs mid-February. I would ask that one be put on our active pending list for the first meeting in December. And the reason I asked it to put on the active pending list is so that the Main Street Association does not have to go through the process of reapplying again. But I would ask that the first two, the Shelf Ice Brew Fest, and the St. Patrick's Day Parade, both be put on our list for decision the first meeting in December of 2021.
Okay.
We start planning shelf ice at the very latest in October. It takes a lot of time to get all of the vendors together for that and whatnot. We did do this request like this in 2019 for the 2021 or for the 2020 season. That's why we were making it again now so that we can get our planning and stuff involved as soon as possible. It does take a lot of time to get those events planned.
Also contribute to support what Arturo was saying. In 2019, when we put forth all of our 2020 event items to the Board of Works, that was done intentionally to limit the burden on the clerk's office of our consistent requests throughout the year, as Main Street provides so many events to the community. Also, at the recommendation of Captain Lineski, that it is helpful to the police department to know that all of the events are approved and that they can be put on the calendar and that security can be put in place and that is all worked out ahead of time. Additionally, as you've noticed, all of our requests come in without insurance attached because we don't pay for the insurance until it is provided. But we work with GIS as the city does, and we have been working with them to create a policy that would cover all of our events for the whole year. But again, which also eases things for Amber and for the clerk's office and for us. And that is not able to be done without the prior approval. And I will just again point out that the Board of Works did in 2019 provide a full year's approval for 2020.
Thank you.
Mr. President, if I may respond to that, I understand and I appreciate that. In 2019, we were not in the middle of a pandemic. So I think because we are still involved in the COVID crisis, that I will maintain my request.
Let me ask this, Captain Lineski. Does it benefit the police department to have these events approved further out from the police department's perspective?
It does. However, we're kind of in a unique situation here with the 11th Street corridor that's going to be closed for the construction. And with that, 8th Street's going to become a major east-west route through the city. So some of these events that do require the closure of 8th and Franklin might need to be revisited. So I would hate to see 8th Street closed if 11th Street's going to be closed at the same time if we don't have an alternative east-west route.
I will just point out that when the closures go from 8th to 4th or 8th to 6th, that 8th Street is not closed. It's just that you can't turn from 8th Street north onto Franklin. That intersection does not get closed.
Yeah, we leave 8th Street open for all of our events, being that it is a major thoroughfare with the stoplights on Pine and Washington. So we leave that open. That was a recommendation from the former chief, and we have continued with that knowledge.
Okay. Last person I'm going to consult is Gail. From the clerk's office perspective, what advantages are gained, or how much easier does it make your life if we do all of these at once 2 years out versus doing these potentially 1 year out instead?
This is totally up to the board. You know, we are busy in here every day. So it's totally up to you.
Okay. With the mayor's recommendation, I actually do believe that we are, with everything that is about to start occurring regarding the double track construction, concerning the fact that we are still in a pandemic. Again, I actually would probably move to keep all of this paperwork and add it to the pending items list so that you don't have to go ahead and reapply or fill out all of this paperwork again. But in terms of our giving approval, I'm hesitant to do this approval for events that are more than 365 days out. I almost would have been inclined, the two that Mayor Perry had suggested, the Shelf Ice Brew Fest and potentially the St. Patrick's Day Parade, I might be able to say I could entertain the idea of doing it. But that being said, I am going to defer. Actually, Ms. Keating, do you have any input, feelings regarding this?
What we're saying here is we're not saying the events cannot take place. We're simply saying that as far as the closures go, that it's too far ahead for us to determine whether we can approve those closures. That's my position.
I come to a consensus on that. I mean, that's what I believe as well. And Mayor,
I also
agree.
thank you.
Okay, so what I am actually going to do, again, I don't expect all of this paperwork that's already been filled out to be filled out again. The requests have been made, but I am very hesitant to give the final approval in terms of what streets can be closed, can't be closed. I would honestly say, Amber, from the legal perspective, is there a way that we can approve the event without approving the closure of streets so that they can, so that ultimately they can move forward and, secure vendors, secure all of the other incidentals that they have to do to maintain the event? And is there a way that we can approve the event without approving the street closures?
Well, if you look at what you just approved, you didn't approve the event, you approved the street closures. So what the board does is approve the street closures. So technically, you can voice your support of it, but the board doesn't give blessings for the event, it does the blessings for the street closures in and of themselves. I know what Mr. Pozos had indicated, that they need to plan in October for the shelf ice. So maybe revisiting these, or at least the first two on the agenda, and putting on the pending list in October may make sense versus December, so that he can plan accordingly.
I'll amend my suggestion, Mr. President. October's fine with me.
Okay. If we were to make that approval in October, the first meeting of October, Mr. Pozos, would that give you sufficient time?
Yeah, that would be fine.
Okay, very good. And again, I appreciate your patience in dealing with our residents. It is a very uncertain time right now, and there are a lot of things that I think we need to take into consideration. And when I saw these all on the list, it gave me reason to pause, and I think that both Mayor Perry and Ms. Keating share my concerns. And again, in no way is this us telling you that you cannot have the event, but in terms of saying, giving advance approval for each of these streets to be closed down that far out, I just really don't think it's necessarily in the city's best interest to do it this far out. I will go ahead and make a motion. So we've actually got, let's see here. 1, 2. So truth told, I think we put all of these items on the pending items list so that they don't have to fill out the paperwork again. Would that be correct, Gail? If we put them on the pending items list, then we can basically, so the first two events, which would be the Brew Ice or Shelf Ice Brew Fest.
Shelf Ice Brew Fest.
And the St. Patrick's Day Parade. Those are the two that we will revisit in the first meeting of October. And then I would say that the remaining items, which are the Taste of Michigan City for 2022, Flame and Flare for 2022, and also the First Friday Art Walk Summer Series. We also need to put those on the pending items list to revisit at the first meeting of the year in January.
As well as the Swale Music Festival.
As well as the Swale Music Festival. Yes, very good. Thank you, Ms. May.
Thanks.
I'll support that motion, Mr. President.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of condense 5 different or 2 items into one. The motion is to.
That's the swale, which we have here.
The Swale Music Festival is actually one that I believe was going to be brought up during public comment. I believe that was, the Swale is this year as well, too. Are you correct, Abby and Arturo?
Only 2022.
Only 2022? Okay. Well, this will actually work out well because we will add that Swale Music Festival. The paperwork has been submitted, but it will be added to the pending items list. So we have 2 different items. The first is request for street closure 2022 for the Shelf Ice Brew Fest on February 18th, 2022, and also a request for street closure for the annual St. Patrick's Day Parade on Saturday, March 12th, 2022. Those 2 items are going to be added to the pending items list to be revisited at the first meeting in October of 2021. We have a motion and we have a support from Mayor Perry for that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now the second item is going to be request for street closure for the Taste of Michigan City 2022, the request for street closure for the 2002 Flame and Flare on Saturday, October 29th, 2022, the request to use city property for the First Friday Art Walk Summer Series, May 6th, 2022, June 3rd, 2022, July 1st, 2022, and September 3rd, 2022. Those items are going to be added to the pending items list to be revisited at the first meeting in January of 2022.
Mr. President, I have a question, please.
Yes.
For Ms. LePage Stallbrink. I heard a swale mentioned several times. It is not in any of these written requests unless it didn't get included in the agenda. Can we make an amendment to these requests verbally and have it binding to include the Swale Fest at this meeting?
I believe I saw some communications from Miss May that she was going to discuss the swale under public comment. I'm not sure if the paperwork got filed or not with it, but you could include that in the motion to table. I don't know, like I said, Abby, I don't know if you've got.
Yeah, the full application did get submitted. It was an error on my part. When I sent all of the applications to Arturo to submit, I neglected to include our swale packet. So that stuff came in the next day, which I apologize for, and that's why it's under public comment. But the clerk's office does in fact have our full agenda request for swale.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Gail, I believe that either you or Dawn emailed those to us, correct?
Yes, we did. It was after the deadline of the agenda and it was out, so I told her she could just bring it under public comment so we could do it all at the same time.
Okay.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Mr. President, I have no issue if the Swale Fest is included in this verbally.
Okay. I would go ahead and make a motion to include the Swale Fest within those items. Ms. Keating, any opposition?
No, none.
Okay. I made a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, Arturo and Abby. Hopefully that'll save you some time not having to be until public comment. And again, I appreciate your guys' understanding with our concerns going that far out. We want to see the events take place. We just want to get a little bit closer to the events so that we know what's going on in regards to the pandemic and the 11th Street construction. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Take care.
You have a good one.
Have a great morning. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, request for street closure. NIPSCO is requesting full and partial closures that will take place along 8th Street from Huron to East Michigan Boulevard and along Spring Street from 7th to 11th Street. Also closures of Pine, York, and Washington Streets along 11th Street for the NIPSCO-NICD double track project. Project date starting April 19th, 2021 through May 28th, 2021 from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Do we have a representative here from NIPSCO?
Yes, good morning. My name is Michelle Applegate, and then also on the phone with me is Jackie Thomas.
Thank you. What can you tell us about these closures?
These closures are part of the NIPSCO double track project, as you indicated, and what we provided to the city was a series of traffic control drawings. The nature of this work is that the roads are closed for a minimal amount of time as possible. As soon as we can conduct the construction, wrap it up, clean up, we open the roads up as fast as possible. They are not all full closures. Some of them would only be partial closures. However, we did provide the city the full packet of information. It's quite extensive, and there's a lot of traffic control plans. So my apologies for the volume of information, but we wanted to try to provide as much as possible. The challenge that we have is that as our crews finish work, they jump to the next available location. So what we are trying to do is provide the city with information on a daily basis. We did speak a little bit about this in your last Public Works meeting, but did not have all of the documentation in. And at this point, I believe we do. And hope that the council and the mayor and Mr. President, you've been able to receive those updates from the clerk and from ourselves to hopefully improve communication, not only for the council, but also for emergency services, streets, trash, et cetera.
Okay, thank you. We are in receipt of several maps, and I believe, I know you said that as soon as one project is completed, that group will move on to the next item.
Available.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
In terms of, I believe there's 80 separate projects here, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but that doesn't sound too far off.
Okay, I'm looking at the maps right now and I see 31 of 80, 32 of 80, 33 of 80. So basically, are you guys going in order so that at any given time, you've got 3 crews out there, one's working on 1, one's working on 2, one's working on 3. If one gets done, they go to number 4. So basically, are these being done in a chronological order, or are they potentially going to skip around?
They're potentially going to skip around, and that's due to the nature of the crews. And I know that is less than ideal, which is why we're trying to give daily updates as to what roads will be closed the next day. And some of that is crew availability. As I know you all are aware, Double Track is a project that extends from Gary to Michigan City. And so there are times when those crews have to jump to other locations outside of Michigan City. So we don't always have crew A, B, and C out there, which is why it's not as streamlined as we would certainly prefer. But what we're hoping to do is be able to provide information so that you all do know where the next crew is going prior to that happening.
Okay. I know that we have been getting, the communication has improved since our last meeting, and I believe that is a good thing. Captain Lonieski, have you been getting regular updates, and are you comfortable with the system that we have in place right now that they are using to inform us? Or are we safe here?
Yes, we've been receiving daily phone updates. Whenever the crews move around town, they'll call our department and let us know. And I've also asked that the person who's in charge of making that contact also contacts the fire and EMS departments.
Okay, but as of in the last 2 weeks, everything has been running as smoothly as it possibly can be, and you have no concerns?
No.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Captain. Gail, I know that you guys have been receiving these updates as well. Have you faced any difficulties on your end?
No, our engineer, Jeff Wright, told us that, he was contacting Jeff Lanuski, so we're doing good.
Okay, very good. Mayor or Ms. Keating, do either of you have any questions?
No, I'm satisfied.
I have a comment, Mr. President, that at the last Double Track meeting, I asked that I be put on the invite list for the meetings, the coordination meetings for these activities. And since then, 2 meetings have been canceled. Now, I don't have any issue with how the information is distributed by NICD to the emergency response groups in Michigan City, police, fire, ambulance. But we also, as government, have the responsibility to let the citizens know what's going on. And I have already discussed putting in place, in addition to our website, for weekly updates, daily if necessary, on what streets will be closed. And we will also do that with press releases. As long as emergency response, police, fire, ambulance, they're informed, but we also have an obligation to inform our residents. So I would like to be put on distribution for that so that we can support your activity with communicating to the public where you're going, because the next available location kind of concerned me a little bit. I understand you have a lot of ground to cover and this is a big project, but we are on behalf of Michigan City, we have obligations to our people to let them know what's going on. So that's my request, that I be put in the loop. I have the horsepower here in the mayor's office to do press releases, to get it on our webpage so that the people in Michigan City know where they're going to bump into a dead end at, and they can plan their travel accordingly. Thank you.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, we will certainly do that.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to echo what the mayor said right there. I believe that 2 weeks ago, we were in a situation where City Hall was getting bombarded by several calls that we had no answers for. I believe that that problem has been alleviated as of now. And I need to strongly encourage that what has occurred over the last 2 weeks continues to happen and we don't have any lapses in that communication. It is imperative from our community's perspective that the same communication that we've had the last 2 weeks maintains throughout the duration of this project. With all of that, I do believe that we made progress, and I am appreciative of the communications that you have given us that allow us to keep our citizens not only safe, but in the loop of knowing what streets are going to be closed down and when. And again, it was a previous administration, it was predecessors of ours that agreed to enter into the double track process. If we didn't know that there was going to be construction of this type, then we weren't very informed in getting into it. I mean, we have to have expected that there would be closures of this nature necessary. And again, if we have the same communication we've had of the last 2 weeks, I am satisfied that we're going to be able to get through it. So I would just like to actively encourage everybody involved to maintain the same level of communication. With that, I would go ahead and make a motion to approve the request for street closures.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you very much, Ms. Applegate and Ms. Thomas.
Ms. Mormon.
Mr. President. Yes, sir.
Ms. Mormon, I would like to thank you for your understanding and in advance for your cooperation. We appreciate this very much.
Thank you, sir. We do too.
Thank you very much, ladies. Have a great morning.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is a resolution approving and accepting the conveyance of Water Tower Park from the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission to the City of Michigan City, Indiana, for the use and benefit of the Michigan City Parks and Recreation Department. Amber, can you go ahead and fill us in on this?
Sure. The park department is applying for a grant to basically redo Water Tower Park. The match would be coming from CDBG funding, but the grant requires the park department to have ownership of the property. When it was looked at further by the park department, the actual title of it is the City of Michigan City for the use and benefit of the redevelopment department. So that was discovered and it needs to be changed, the City of Michigan City for the use and benefit of the Park and Recreation Department. So the Redevelopment Commission and also the Park Department have both passed resolutions in support of the conveyance of the property to the Park Department. So it would be legally held in their name, and so they can make that representation as well when they go apply for the grant, which I believe is due June 1st, Shannon said.
Okay, very good. Mayor Perry, Ms. Keating, either of you have any questions, comments, concerns regarding this?
None for me, sir.
I have none.
Okay. I would go ahead and make a motion to accept the resolution.
Support.
Motion support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 3-4, none opposed. Thank you, Amber, for that explanation. The next item on the agenda, request for solicitation of proposals. Robin Tillman, Transit Director, is asking for approval to solicit requests for purchase proposals for bus shelters. Ms. Tillman is with us. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. This is an opportunity for us to provide uniform bus shelters throughout the city and our main thoroughfares. It's at no cost to the city in construction or maintenance of the shelters, which I think would greatly benefit us. Mm-hmm. We also have the opportunity to garner revenue from advertisement in those shelters.
Very good. Very good. No, it's one of those things, driving around the city as often as we do when we live here our entire life. I do not use the bus system on a regular basis, but I was actually kind of surprised to see that, we do have bus stops where there are no shelter, and it seems like this is one of those items that we definitely should be providing for those that use the buses during inclement weather. So I thank you for bringing this forward. Mayor Perry or Ms. Keating, do either of you have any questions for Ms. Tillman?
None for me, Mr. President. I think this is a winner all the way around. Thank you, Ms. Tillman.
Mr. White,
Mr. York.
I just wanted to add, and Robin, correct me if I'm wrong, the way that these were selected, just in case you're wondering, these are the heaviest pickup areas for Ms. Tillman, and this also could help speed up the time of delivery for the buses as well. When you have points of shelters, people go to those shelters, it cuts down the time of stopping in between. It could improve the transit system with reliability, etc. It really is a win for the city, and it's a good project.
Very good. Thank you, Skylar.
Mr. White, if I may.
Sure.
So the city is asking for a proposal. So if any interested vendor is interested in providing the city with prefabricated shelters with the idea that they would garner revenue from advertising, that is what this whole thing is. And our requests for proposals, a submission date would be by June 1st. Any written inquiries needed to be submitted to Ms. Robin Tillman by May 21st. So after June 1st, what we're hoping to do is review any proposals we get. Ms. Tillman, Mr. York, and myself would sit down with any vendor, see who best fits our needs if we do get a proposal, and hopefully award maybe sometime in July.
Okay, very good.
Thank you, Amber.
Skylar, actually, this raises a valid point. Are there any businesses within Michigan City proper that might have the capability of creating these types of shelters?
I believe there are. This is just so you know, we're looking at, I think, 12 right now. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Wow.
I see this as a pilot, if you will, to make sure that it's going to function the way that I think it will. So there could be more opportunity for other bus shelters out there. But yeah, I think that there are companies that do this within the city and within the region. I think there are companies that do this. Other cities do the same thing with advertisement or services provided. What we're asking for from the Board of Works is more or less to let you guys know that we want these in our right of way. So that's why we're before you with this RFP, so that we can make sure that it's transparent and that we're using that we're doing the right thing with respect to Board of Works approval and the right of way use of the right of way, etc.
Sure. I mean, do we have any? I'm just thinking of one particular bus stop where it is actually out in the Meyer Drive area. And I was driving past it the other day, and it just didn't really look like it was necessarily wide enough to where you'd be able to have a shelter right there. I mean, we have identified all of the areas where these shelters can be built and not impede with right-of-ways in terms of sidewalks and everything like that.
Correct. We have looked at that. Each one of these, once we find a vendor, someone comes to us, we're going to have to look at what's under the ground. There's going to be some things we're going to have to look at. What's under the ground? When we were looking at, me and Robin were looking at this, we were thinking about how much space is there, literally the spatial. That's why we were thinking, well, shelter's 15 by by 6 deep. It's got to have ADA accessibility. It's got to have, you got to be able to get around it. It can't just dump you off into the street, things of that nature. We did consider that with this. The area you're talking about down south of here, it actually, we're not going to be able to solicit any shelters out there because that's NDOT right of way down there. So that offers up a whole nother level of complication with having to work with NDOT. Do they allow advertising in their right of way? It's a completely different process to do that. The goal, though, would be to on Meyer Drive, not Meyer, Town Center Drive. The Redevelopment Commission right now is looking at doing a project there. The goal is to make that a transportation pedestrian backbone through that area rather than having to use right of way for NDOT. We would shift that to our right of way where we have the control over that right of way and then put the bus shelters in there. That's kind of what we're looking at. But obviously that's a little bit, we haven't built.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. And
but no, your point is very well taken. Some of the heavier transit areas are down there, and the bus, we've all seen them, the bus shelters, there's not a lot of space in that right of way at all. So,
right.
In that NDOT right of way.
Basically, if we address the areas that we can address at this time, it will give us something to be able to go to NDOT eventually and say, we would really like to be able to do these at these other areas. And
I think so, or we shift them to Town Center Drive and pull all of our transit off of that main right of way.
Okay.
And maybe just shift the way that we are delivering services.
Okay.
So safer,
Okay. I believe that at this point, basically right now, we would be approving the request for solicitation of proposals. I am going to go ahead and make a motion to request the solicitation of proposals for bus shelters for the transit department.
Second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It is approved. Ms. Tillman, I see that I missed a note from Skylar actually during our discussion of the street closures for NIPSCO. I am going to make a request that we do include the transportation department in that information so that you guys are also updated with the police department, with the fire department in regards to what streets are going to be closed in regards to the 11th Street corridor right there. So we'll go ahead and make sure that you are also specifically informed regarding those closures, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Not a problem at all. Not a problem at all.
My only point I wanted to make earlier was that NICD had promised that they wouldn't close Franklin and Washington at the same time. And when they mentioned that they may jump from project to project, that's a key element of the transportation. I have to be able to pass over 11th Street.
Okay.
One of those points.
Yeah, no, that is definitely something. Why don't we go ahead and we will reach out to Miss Applegate and just ask for written assurance that Franklin and Washington, you said?
Correct.
Excuse me. Okay, that those two are not closed at the same time. Right. But I don't think that is an unreasonable request. So we'll go ahead and reach out to them, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Ms. Tillman, you have a great morning. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Okay, next item on the agenda, special purchase. Cranston Harris, Superintendent, Central Services, is requesting approval to lease a new copier for Central Services Konica Minolta BizHub C258 from Kemp's Office City, utilizing special purchase method IC 5-22-10-8. Cranston, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Need a new copier, huh?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. Yvonne, we are good in terms of the money for this one?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Okay. All right. Mayor, Ms. Keating, do either of you have any questions, comments, concerns?
No issues, sir.
Okay.
Nothing here.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and 2 seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we move on. Cranston, enjoy the new copier, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Our pleasure. All right, next up on the agenda is the claims docket, May 3rd, 2021. Municipal claims in the amount of $510,223.49. Community Development Block Grant monies of $518.70. Health Life in the amount of $381,026.40. Workers' Comp in the amount of $38,794.20. 2011 refund bonds sinking monies in the amount of $242,001.86. 2011 refund bonds operating and reserves money of $29,890.53. And Ohio Street operating funds in the amount of $1,250.00. Total claims for the preceding items, $1,203 or $1,203,705.18. Do I have a motion to approve the claims docket?
Motion to approve. I have just one question for Ms. Hoffmaster. It looks to me like we're getting close to getting some of the outstanding bonds that we have taken in previous administrations, getting them paid off. Is that a correct assessment?
Well, we're paying them on the scheduled amortization.
Okay. Great. I'll make a motion to approve, Mr. President.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the claims docket. Total claims of $1,203,705.18. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 3-4, none opposed. We move on. Next up is the payroll docket. We have the April 23rd, 2021 city payroll, the amount of $509,848.27. We also have the April 30th, 2021 city pension in the amount of $213,511.33.
President, I'll make a motion to approve payment of the city payroll docket and the city pension for the amount stated.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
We move on. Unfinished business, the pending items list. Let me see here. Dawn, I know that you emailed that to me. Gail, do you by chance have the pending items list printed out in front of you?
Yes, I do.
Would you be able to tell us the items that we need to address on that list?
Okay, the first one is David Hart's, 160 Turner Court, and it's on the pending list to make sure they are placed, and I was gonna ask Sean.
Yes, Gail, we placed a dead end sign at the base of the 160 residence at Turner Court. We also put up a no parking sign at the very top of the hill across from his driveway. So it's completed. All work is done.
Very good. I do recall from the pending items list that it was there was a mistake on that sheet that mentioned that there should be a stop sign placed at the entrance to his driveway, and it was actually a no parking sign, which Sean just indicated has been put on there. Both of those have been placed, and I believe that everything regarding that request has been completed. So I will go ahead and make a motion to remove that from the pending items list.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we move other items on the unfinished business list, Gail.
Kathy Rogers, Black Book connection regarding the air market down in the marina.
Okay. I do believe that we were in receipt of an email that said that Miss Rogers is withdrawing her application at the time being. And if she decides to revisit the idea, that she will reapply. So I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to remove this item from the pending items list.
Support.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Any other items of need on that?
The next one is Paul Prespolinski regarding the old hanging poles and wires that belong to NIPSCO and Comcast.
Mayor, can you give us any more information? I know that we've.
Mr. President, I did lodge a call with NIPSCO, and I was told that is on their schedule to do. They could not give me an exact date. They said that is part of the of what they will do. They put in a new pole to replace an existing pole that is old, maybe insect infested or something or whatever. And there is coordination involved because you have other services that have to have their items removed, like Comcast, AT&T, whatever, because they hang off of NIPSCO's poles. Everybody looks for somewhere to hang their services from. So that's why it's been there a while, but I was assured that will be done ultimately.
Yeah, I believe that Jeff Wright, who unfortunately had another dentist appointment this morning, also sent some emails that he has had some correspondence with Comcast. And so I do believe that we are making progress on that particular item, but we do need to leave it on the pending items list for the foreseeable future until we make sure that we get it taken care of. One other item on there, Gail?
James Taylor requesting roadway access on Huron Avenue for streetlights to be installed as well as the road.
So I believe this was the item where Mr. Taylor has been kind of incognito. We did reach out to him for information that he had not provided, and he still has not provided said information. Is that correct?
Yes, we did send a letter to him and we have not received anything.
Do we think we've given him enough time that we are good enough to be able to take this off the pending items list? And should he choose to revisit it, he can reapply?
I would agree with that.
Okay. I will go with. Okay. Very good. We will go ahead and make a motion and support. All in favor of removing Mr. Taylor's items from the pending items list, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that completes the unfinished business. Move on to public comment. Do we have members from the public that would like to make a statement at this time? Councilman Don Prespolinski. Yes.
Yeah, going back to the unfinished business, the pending items list.
Yes.
I believe at the last meeting or the meeting before, I had requested a report on the ADA crossings and the ADA stoplights to see where we stood on that. And I thought that you had said it was going to be put back on the pending items list so we could track this, but I didn't hear that this morning. And I would like to get an update to see how we're following through with this project. I know we've been at it since, I think this, maybe, I don't know, January, for sure, December, January, to get this done. So I just want to know where we stand with it.
It is my understanding, I believe that I received an email from Jeff, and I thought that you were attached to it, but he did say that he had confirmation from the company that all of the ADA spots on both Franklin Street and on Michigan Boulevard had been tested and are operational as of the times of those tests. I am going to.
But yeah, and the other thing, Mr. President, we were going to look at all the ADA accessible crossings in Michigan City, not just Franklin Street and Michigan Boulevard. So I don't know if those got done yet, but I believe the agreement was we were gonna do them all and not leave any of them out. So I would like to, if we could get that, put that back on the pending items list so we could get a, you know, a full report on it and follow it to its closure.
Are there, again, forgive me if I'm, forgive me for not knowing, but what other thoroughfares would we have those buttons on? I believe that there are buttons along Franklin Street and there are buttons along Michigan Boulevard. Are there areas that I am not thinking of that have those buttons, those items installed?
Are you asking me?
Yes, Councilman
Oh,
Przewalski.
well, I mean, I don't know where every button in Michigan City is. I mean, granted, they're on the main thoroughfares, but there could be some more at, you know, high traffic intersections that I'm not aware of. I mean, that's why Jeff would know, and this company that works for Jeff would know, and it would be Jeff's responsibility to go out and make sure we got everything covered.
Okay, so my question to send to Jeff will be, are there any other buttons located in any other areas other than Franklin Street and Michigan Boulevard? Off the top of my head, I cannot think of any intersections where we would have those buttons installed that we would need to have them tested.
Well, I think one comes to my mind right off the bat. That would be Ohio Street and Earl Road, because you have a grade school, you have Knapp Grade School there that I know children use that that intersection to go to the school, and people use that. Okay. So I mean, there is one right there.
Okay.
That comes to my mind. The other one might be Wabash and I don't know. I don't think the one's there. But I mean, you know, that would be up to Jeff to determine where those are at.
Okay, so that being said, I will go ahead and say that we need to reach out to Jeff and ask him if there are any of those buttons that are not on Franklin Street or Michigan Boulevard. Obviously, those are the two main thoroughfares. And I have been informed that all of those buttons along Franklin Street and along Michigan Boulevard have been tested and are operational. And actually, Sean just got back to his desk right here. Sean, we are discussing ADA crossings and the buttons. I know that Jeff indicated that all of the buttons along Franklin Street and Michigan Boulevard have been tested. Are there other areas, other streets that have those buttons that you are aware of? Mr. Przewalski just mentioned he thought that there was one on Ohio Street, I believe in the proximity of Knapp School, maybe?
Yeah.
Ohio and Earl Road.
Ohio and Earl Road.
Yes, it is. It is one there.
There is one there?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Would you be able to get together with Jeff and make sure that he had indicated Franklin and Michigan have all been tested and are operational. Any other areas, any other instances where we have those buttons, can we make sure that they are tested as well?
Yes, correct. I could get with Jeff when he's back in service and we can go over that.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sean.
Yeah,
yes.
Sean.
Councilman Przewalski.
Yeah,
yes.
Hey, just another location I just thought of. Cool Spring Ave in Woodland, right by Joy School.
Oh, yeah.
There's a crosswalk right there that has those buttons.
Okay.
Mr. President, the email that Jeff Wright sent, I just pulled up. There, it looks like there is an attachment to that document. The email was sent on April 28th. And in that attachment, it has a laundry list of all intersections, and it has a checkoff list Then that checkoff list was dated April 20th of 2021. And it laundry lists all of the locations, including like 11th and Wabash, 11th and Washington. So you may just want to refer to that email.
Okay. I am seeing that right now. Woodland Avenue and Cool Spring Avenue. Yes, what I will go ahead and do is, Councilman Prisbalinski, if you did not get this, I'm going to go ahead after this meeting and forward you this email. Once again, it actually does indicate Woodland and Cool Spring and Ohio and Earl are both mentioned on this list. So I have to believe that this is a comprehensive list of all the places where those buttons exist. I will go ahead and forward this to you, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you. And
thank you, sir.
Yeah, getting back to what the Mr. Perry was talking about with the removal of those poles. I know that they started removing the poles on Poplar Street. I've seen about 5 or 6 of them taken out. So whatever company's doing that, they have started doing it.
Very good. That's progress. That's what we like to see. Thank you very much, Councilman Prisbalinski.
Yep.
All right. Any other member, Yvonne?
Yes, good morning. On Friday, I had sent out a contract for Kemp's Office Supply for a new printer in the controller's office. This is to replace a printer that is approximately 15 or 16 years old. And it's our workhorse printer that is dying a very quick death. So this was inadvertently left off of the agenda. So I wanted to present this so we could get this contract signed and get this new printer. We are struggling right now daily with the current printer. So there is money available in the current budget to cover the cost of this printer. And I just asked the board's permission to sign this so we can get this new printer in my office.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Yvonne. Mayor or Ms. Keating, do either of you have opposition to approving this?
I have no issue with this, Mr. President. The controller's office does an enormous amount of work. I would make a motion that we approve this.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, Yvonne, for bringing that to our attention.
Yep, thank you very much. Have a great day.
You do the same. Any other members of the public? Tom?
Yeah, this is Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street. It was very disturbing to me. I seen the lighthouse got tagged with gang graffiti again this week. It's pursuant to section 46-194 that we're a graffiti-free community. So I want to encourage all my fellow residents, if you see any graffiti anywhere in the city, don't report it to Facebook. You report it to the Michigan City Police Department. That's what they're there for. I want to get back to the bus shelters. All the bus stop signs, these are the older bus stop signs. They're kind of a combination bus stop, no parking sign. It's along both sides of the entire stretch of the boulevard. They're incredibly faded. Because they've been that way for a long time and they need to be replaced. There are several others like that around the city. Some of them are in good shape, some are faded. They basically need to go around spot checked and they all need to be replaced. I think that looks real tacky. The other thing I want to talk about is the survey for the Water Tower Park. We just had a resolution reverted from the Water Department to the city. I never understood, is there anything that Michigan City did something bad in the past that we're not allowed to have an outdoor community swimming pool? The community of Lake Station, Crown Point, Hobart, Merrillville, Gary, South Bend, drive an hour north of the city of Holland, Michigan. They got a indoor community aquatic center that just knocked your socks off. 2009, they tore out the tennis courts and they spent $1 million. They took out the tennis courts in Federer's Alley and put up that splash pad. That's back when Mayor Oberle was the mayor. I like to see that splash pad. That never thrilled my kids at all. They always said it was real babyish. I think it's outlived its normal life, and I'd like to see that a real nice community swimming pool going there for Michigan State. I think that would be a great thing, not only for the residents, but people from outside would really enjoy that more than the splash pad. I want to commend the members, the workers of the sanitary district. They just completed their spring cleanup. That's something that Michigan City does really good at every year. They do an excellent job. Don't ever change that. It's college graduation season. All our former students are graduating from college this week. One is my niece, Alexis Bigger. She's going to graduate from IU. They're going to have their commencement ceremony Saturday. She's going to start her career as a policewoman. So I also want to make another request on public comment at the start of
Okay,
every
last one, Tommy.
Mark it
One more
every,
request.
every Saturday that they play, have a play in Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USDA. Thank you very much, and y'all have a nice day.
Tommy, thank you for your patience. Thank you for your appearance. Do we have any other members? Councilman Jigas?
Yes, hi. Yes, I would just like to commend Ms. Tillman and Mr. York on the bus shelter program. It's a long time coming, and this is, I hope, the beginning of lots of shelters so people can take public transportation and in a much more comfortable manner. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you very much, Councilman Jigas. Skylar?
Real quick, Nicole had to, excuse me, Nicole Barker was on the call earlier. She had to run, but she sent me just some things just to put out to the public. She told me that abatement starting on some of the parcels on 10th and 11th Street this week, and then the demolition will start in the next over the next 2 weeks. Sue Downs has been briefed on that, so they're keeping our department in contact with that with respect to the demolitions and the abatement, so that we can keep an eye on boarded up properties, etc. She said she doesn't believe any road closures will be necessary for any of that. The 11th Street station is closed, so as of May 1st, the 11th Street station is closed. They will be boarding up that station so that people aren't waiting there. But if you are going to take the South Shore station, you need to go to the Carroll, or the South Shore train, you need to go to Carroll Street. That's what's going to stay open right now. It says that Michigan City should remove any directional signage pointing people to the 11th Street station. I can't remember offhand where those directional signs, I know I've seen them. And then Michigan City should remove its bulletin board no later than 6/1/21, and I'm not sure exactly which one, what that means, but I'll clarify that. I think Jeff was emailed on the directional signals or directional signage stuff. We'll talk internally about that.
Okay. I was going to say, I want to say there might be some directional signs down along right by City Hall, actually, if I'm not mistaken. I seem to recall Amtrak this way and South Shore that way.
And then the last one, I'll just say that they're gonna, we just talked about NIPSCO, the relocation of the main electrical line, but also they'll be doing gas work as well and relocating some gas. So we'll probably be hearing about that in the near future as well.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Any other members of the public? We are done with public comment. Mayor Perry, Ms. Keating, either of you?
Nothing here.
Not for me, sir.
Okay. I feel like we've been in a long bonding experience today. Just under 2 hours, I think, is good enough for us. I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to adjourn. Okay, we have a motion and support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We'll see everybody in 2 weeks.